The chaos surrounding Shedeur Sanders has never felt louder, and this time it didn't come from a football field, a draft board, or even a press conference. It came from a phone screen in the middle of a blowout loss, when the supposed future face of the Cleveland Browns decided to use social media like a weapon. What unfolded was not just another viral clip or careless comment. It was a seismic moment that shook the foundations of an NFL franchise, split a fan base in two, and left executives across the league scrambling to make sense of a future they suddenly couldn't control. Because in the span of just a few hours, Shedeur Sanders turned a meaningless Week 4 disaster into a referendum on power, leverage, and who really decides the destiny of the NFL's brightest stars. It began at exactly 2:43 p.m. Eastern Time. Joe Flacco, Cleveland's aging placeholder under center, had just been strip-sacked by Aiden Hutchinson. On the other side of the country, Shedeur was in his Boulder apartment with his crew, casually watching the carnage unfold on his phone while streaming live on Instagram. 20,000 people were tuned in when Flacco airmailed a pass 10 yards over Jerry Jeudy's head, and Shedeur couldn't contain himself any longer. He smirked, laughed, and muttered, "Yo, they really think I'm coming to save this." He tried to catch himself, but it was too late. Hundreds of viewers were already screen recording the moment, and within minutes the clip was everywhere. But that was only the beginning. With the Browns down 27 at halftime, Shedeur escalated things in a way no one saw coming. He posted a photo of himself in his Colorado uniform with the caption, "At least we score touchdowns." 15 minutes later, the post had racked up 90,000 likes and was trending #1 on Twitter. Yet even that jab wasn't his knockout blow. During the third quarter, as Detroit's defense tore Cleveland apart, Shedeur's Instagram story featured a simple poll. "Should I let the Browns draft me?" 83% of nearly 500,000 voters answered no. For Browns fans, it felt like a dagger straight through the heart. But for the rest of the football world, it was entertainment on an entirely different level. The viral explosion reached a fever pitch when Khalif Raymond returned a punt 65 yards for a touchdown, pushing the Lions teammates literally falling off the couch with laughter. One of them was heard saying, "Bro, they really think you're going there," to which Shedeur responded almost under his breath, "Not after today." 6 seconds long, raw, and unscripted, and viewed more than 8 million times in less than 24 hours. The timing could not have been more devastating. Joe Flacco finished the game with a passer rating of 39.3, the worst by a Browns starter in 2 years. He threw 2 interceptions, completed just 16 of 34 passes, and looked like the shell of a quarterback who once lifted a Lombardi trophy more than a decade ago. The body language on Cleveland's sideline told an even darker story. Myles Garrett sat alone with his head in his hands, disinterested in even watching his teammates play. Jerry Jeudy was caught on camera in a heated argument with offensive coordinator Ken Dorsey, throwing his arms up before storming off. By the fourth quarter, Ford Field was emptying of Browns jerseys as their own fans abandoned ship, while Lions fans mocked them with chants of, "Thank you, Cleveland." To everyone else, it was just another embarrassing loss for a franchise all too familiar with humiliation. But to Shedeur Sanders, it was the perfect stage for something bigger. Because what looked like spontaneous trolling wasn't spontaneous at all. Sources close to Shedeur's camp revealed that this was calculated. A deliberate move timed to inflict maximum damage and followed by another of him in Giants blue. These weren't random teases. They were signals, breadcrumbs left for teams paying attention. Then came the moment that made front offices stop in their tracks. Shedeur liked a comment from a verified NFL insider that read, "Some quarterbacks get to choose their destiny." That single click of a heart symbol carried more weight than a dozen press conferences. It wasn't subtle. It wasn't accidental. It was Shedeur telling the league, "I'm one of those quarterbacks." The Sanders family amplified the moment in a way only they could. Shiloh Sanders, Shedeur's brother, jumped in with his own post. "My brother ain't going somewhere that don't know how to protect a quarterback." Then came Deion Sanders himself, Coach Prime, who tweeted, "Always watch how an organization treats their current players before you become their future player." He didn't mention the Browns by name. He didn't have to. Within minutes, Shannon Sharpe was co-signing with Coach Prime speaking facts, while Michael Irvin chimed in, "That's why you gotta have leverage, young king." It was a family-led blitz, coordinated, sharp, and devastating. Cleveland's reputation wasn't just suffering on the field, it was being destroyed in the court of public opinion, and then the floodgates opened. Patrick Mahomes dropped into Shedeur's comments with "Young Bull keeping it real" and 3 laughing emojis. Lamar Jackson piled on with "He ain't wrong though," accompanied by a screenshot of Cleveland's offensive stats. Even Tom Brady, the GOAT himself, left a cryptic response that added more fuel to the fire. Suddenly, Shedeur's viral moment wasn't just college football drama. It was a full-scale NFL storyline, but nothing stung more than the reactions from inside Cleveland's own locker room. David Njoku, one of the Browns' most recognizable names, briefly liked Shedeur's tweet before scrambling to unlike it, but screenshots spread instantly. A backup defensive back commented directly, "Come save us, bro," only to delete his entire account 20 minutes later. The cracks in the Browns' foundation were impossible to ignore. The fan base descended into chaos. Half of them flooded Shedeur's comments, begging him to save the franchise, promising that things would change with him under center. The other half lashed out, calling him arrogant, spoiled, and disrespectful. The Browns subreddit crashed multiple times. The Giants replied to Shedeur's post with nothing but was watching its leverage disappear in real time. Behind the scenes, panic was setting in. Reports emerged that the Browns front office held an emergency Zoom meeting during the fourth quarter of their own game. Owner Jimmy Haslam was described as apoplectic, furious not only about the blowout loss, but about the PR disaster unfolding live across social media. Everything about the 2026 draft had changed in the span of one afternoon. Shedeur Sanders wasn't just the top prospect anymore. He was dictating terms. The implications stretched far beyond Cleveland. NFL insiders speculated that Shedeur had just shifted the balance of power between players and teams. One anonymous GM told ESPN, "This kid just showed every team in the league that he's not afraid to control his narrative." That's either terrifying or exciting, depending on where you're picking. The message was clear. Even if Cleveland secured the #1 overall pick, it might not matter. Shedeur could pull an Eli Manning, refusing to play for a team he didn't want. And unlike prospects from earlier eras, he actually had the financial means to back up the threat. Marketing experts estimate that Shedeur's social media influence alone is worth upwards of $30 million in endorsement potential. Add in his already massive NIL deals at Colorado, and suddenly the idea of him sitting out a season, rather than joining a dysfunctional franchise, wasn't just possible. It was entirely realistic. That's leverage no rookie has ever wielded before. Cleveland knew it. Their desperation was obvious. Reports suggested they were willing to let Shedeur have a say in choosing their next offensive coordinator. They were promising to dedicate their entire free agency budget to bolstering the offensive line. Jimmy Haslam was even said to be reaching out directly to Deion Sanders in an attempt to repair the damage. But the longer those viral posts continued to trend, the weaker their bargaining position became. Other teams smelled opportunity. The Giants were rumored to be preparing an aggressive offer, 3 first-round picks to move up if Shedeur signaled he'd accept New York as his home. The Raiders were restructuring their cap space to spend big on protecting their quarterback of the future. Even the league office, usually content to sit back, was quietly expressing concern. If players of Shedeur's stature could effectively dictate where they played, what did that mean for the draft, for parity, for the NFL's carefully constructed illusion of competitive balance? But there was no rule against it. Shedeur Sanders was about to become the test case, the proof that the old model of teams dictating terms to players was officially outdated. When asked for comment, his response was simple but cutting. "I'll play where I'm valued, protected, and have a chance to win. If that's Cleveland, cool. If not..." He never finished the sentence. He didn't need to, because in one afternoon, Shedeur Sanders did more than embarrass the Browns. He exposed them. He showed the entire league that in the age of social media and NIL money, the old rules no longer apply. Tanking for a franchise quarterback doesn't mean anything if that quarterback doesn't want you. And right now, after one viral storm and one humiliating loss, Shedeur Sanders has made it clear. Cleveland isn't that place. The Browns thought they were positioning themselves for the future. Instead, they've been thrust into a nightmare they can't control. The viral moment that broke the internet may have broken Cleveland's future too, and shifted the power dynamic of the NFL forever. But what about you? Do you think Shedeur Sanders was right to laugh at the Browns' collapse, to use social media as a weapon, and to send a message about his draft intentions so publicly? Should Cleveland swallow its pride and beg for his commitment? Or should they walk away and save themselves the humiliation of being rejected on draft night? And most importantly, is this the dawn of a new era where the NFL's top prospects decide where they'll play, leaving franchises scrambling to earn their approval? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell so you never miss a single twist in the saga that might just reshape the future of football.